Welcome to this episode where we're going to talk to you how I lost 5 kilos in less than 7 days just by removing this out of my day-to-day.
Yo, welcome to the Elite Table Talk, where we unpack health professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs, and just everyday people, and looking at their lifestyle, their mindset, their routines, and we see what they have done to help them move forward and really just get more time back in the day. You know, most people say there's 24 hours in the day, but there's really 16 because we sleep for 8. But how do we get the most out of those 16? So grab a pen, get some paper, let's make some notes. Let's see what we can get from this episode today. Let's go.
So what was happening for me was, so for those that don't know, I like doing personal development courses, events. There's a gentleman called Tony Robbins who I've been following recently, and he does events where he goes Tony time, where you might do a 12-hour event with him and it goes 18 hours. And I'm joined his crew to be part of the service and just to help more business owners, more like-minded, passionate people. And the biggest challenge is we were doing 18, 20-hour days. So there's 4 hours where I was sleeping, but then I would have naps through the day. And when you get less than 7 hours sleep, we usually ask the question of, did you get 7 to 9 hours unbroken? And a lot of you probably listening and might be going, yeah, Karl, I get 7 hours of sleep. I'm gonna tell you right now, most people F this up. I know I did, because I wasn't really getting that, and I was relying on these protein bars, and I was tired. I was like, oh, I'll just have a second one rather than meal prep. I don't want to wake Kate. And I would just come up with excuses rather than eat real food. What happened is by getting rid of that, I was able to drop 5 kilos in 7 days. And the reason why is that because these protein bars have maybe whey concentrate. It bloated me. So you might be feeling distended or bloated and you're just used to it. And by cutting it out, lost the bloat and the water retention that came with that. So I didn't drop 5 kilos of fat, I lost 5 kilos of weight. And so a lot of, they use dietary or insoluble fibers. So you swell, retain water, but then, cool, I got rid of it, now I've lost the weight. So number one is lack of sleep. For all those that are saying they're sleeping 7 hours, if you look at your phone and it says 9 o'clock and you then go to bed at 9, you haven't fallen asleep at 9. And then you wake up at 4, that's 7 hours, but you haven't slept for 7 hours. So it's really hard to distinguish the 7 hours and what you're actually getting. So if you're not feeling awake, alert, primed, ready to go the moment you wake up, a few deep breaths and you're off, ready to kick it, you're probably lacking sleep. And so if you're utilizing energy drinks or coffees, like you love them, caffeine, L-theanine, all that good stuff to help with cognitive function. But if you're tired, you're burning the wick at both ends. So what you want to do is you want to improve the quality of sleep. That'll help all the hormones, and we're not going to dive into that, but that'll help with hormones, which appetites. If you're noticing you're getting really hungry or you're getting cravings for certain things, it may be because you're sleep deprived. I know I was doing it. And then when I finished the events, it was like, cool, next day, rather than having to jump back into business and planning and actioning, it's like, cool, took that day off, just did what I needed, fully recovered, hit the beach, jumped in the water. Yeah, I know, no beach tan because I went to the beach at like 6 in the morning, jumped in the water, but then just let the body reset. And then the next day, just got back, focused on hydration, water. Yeah, I still had a coffee, so I wasn't, removing everything. But I got rid of those protein bars and I just started focusing on my vegetable intake. So I started having a green shake in the morning, so veg, celery, lettuce, chicken, not in the shake, but chicken and veg with potato or rice. And so the volume of food I was eating had increased, but because I had removed the whey concentrate, so something that might be causing an inflammatory response, which causes the bloat, I got rid of that, so my body flushed out. So I lost 5 kilos, but really I probably lost 8, but because my volume of food had increased, I'm probably now 2-3 kilos heavier because of the volume, but those inflammatory markers had gone. Now, why is it important to know? Number one, sleep pattern, got to get that sorted out. Give yourself 8 hours, so then maybe you're getting 7.5 hours unbroken. 2, look at the things that you're eating. If it's not whole foods, 90-10, so 90% of the food that you eat should be clean, wholesome foods. If you're eating a donut and chocolate, that's 10% of the time. That'd be 2 meals in the week. That's fine, you're only human. But if it's not real food, you're probably not getting the fiber, the minerals, the nutrients, the electrolytes, protein, fats, carbs, you're not getting all of that stuff. So naturally, there's not gonna be enough energy in your body. So over time, it just starts to get sluggish. And I noticed for me as well, working on 15, 20,000 steps a day, was hard. It'd be aches and pains. And since cleaning that up 2-3 weeks later, I'm feeling a lot better. Now, where's my weight at the moment? I'm still sitting around 110. So I do 4 meals a day, an average of 15,000 steps. And now I'm looking to grow up to 20,000 steps a day because I really don't want to have to change the food so much. But now what I'm doing is I'll be doing 3 meals, so bigger meals. And the reason for that is just time. It's like focus on business or the career or training. 4 meals a day is a little bit more challenging. So actually we'll start my morning. I do Kate's made protein cookies, which is great. So we use a plant-based protein now instead with chocolate chips, protein, we use oats. And then I have 1 or 2 of those first thing in the morning with my coffee. I start my steps walk, listen to an Audible podcast. Then I'll have steak or I'll do amino acids. So then I can train, work. So it depends, like if I get stuck into something, then I'll do amino acids and then whole meal and carbs post-workout. But if I've got time, then I'll do whole meal first, then I'll do a workout, second meal, and then have my third meal around 4 or 5 o'clock. And then I'll focus on more steps in the evening because then by the time I'm going to bed, I don't feel as full because I've had time to rest and digest, and that allows that to taper off. So where's this all going? Number 1, get your 7 to 9 hours sleep. 2, whole foods are king, but 3 is movement. So if you looked at your phone, so if you pull it out and you literally open the health app, so you go health, you'll see a total amount of, you go to activity. So mine says I've done 4,800 steps. It's now 9 o'clock, 4,800 steps. And so I'm a quarter of the way there. If on average you're doing 10,000 steps and you're not dropping in the weight, you've got a choice. You can either move more, train more, eat less, supplement, or sleep. Now, if you're already working on your sleep and you're getting that sweet spot of the 8 to 9, because 7 is the minimum, you're already training 4 or 5 times a week. And a lot of you will say, oh, I train 4 or 5 times a week. You don't, you're training consistently. You either train 4 or you train 5. 4 or 5 is not consistent. So you lack consistency. So pick a number, stick with it. I recommend 4 because it's easier, because then you only have to train 4 days instead of 5. But then when you hit this point again where you plateau, you then can go for that 5th time. If you train 5 times and then you hit a plateau, guess what? You got to do 6. So 4 is a little bit easier. I am doing 4 myself. I am going to change it back to 5 because I find when I train, I just cognitively feel better and won't probably rely on caffeine as much. Like that'll get my body moving. I'll feel more open. I won't feel as restricted. Supplementation, that's Pandora's box. It's the sprinkles on the cake. So at the end of the day, there's people that talk about creatine, you got magnesium, you got multis. Find the ones that work for you. Check, there's a link. iHerb, all the ones that I'm using at the moment, from alpha GPC for dopamine production, tyrosine, taurine, all those supplements are on that link in aminos. I use a different brand called White Wolf, so I use these guys. But there are Thorns is another great product that I used to use a lot of the time. And the protein bar we did use was Musashi. Again, I tend not to get too caught up on so many brands because there's so many out there, but understand that some have a higher dosage than others. Like White Wolf has, I think, 100 milligrams of 105 milligrams of caffeine. So standard coffee is 68, but there are some brands that are like 250. So people are like, man, I've got heaps of energy. You're super doped on caffeine, like super doped. So you just got to be mindful of that. So I like this because it's like 1.5 serves. So I usually do double shot espresso. So boom, and then I don't need to take this, like the L-theanine subs with it because it's in it already. So then sleep, supplements, training, and then movement. Look at how many steps you're doing. Average person doing 8,000 to 10,000 a day. Some people do less. You want to get, there's a rookie numbers, you want to pump them up, get them up to 12 to 15,000. Do that for a good 3 to 4 weeks and then rank it up to 18 to 20. And then for me, it'll be then 24 to 26. The reason why you probably do that every 4 weeks is because you need your body to like acclimatize. Sorry. The thing to note is that I will work like release, trigger point, release my feet and calves and do some mobility at night. So that does get me moving a bit more, but I don't count those as like, oh, I've moved this much. The thing to understand is that NEAT, net energy activity thermogenesis, when it comes to weight loss, it's hard to go, I moved for 25 minutes, 10 seconds last week on average. So now I'll do 33 on average. It's really hard metric to track. You can with devices, but sometimes you forget to press the button, and therefore that workout doesn't count. Man, it's just a mess of a head, right? So we want to make it really easy. Your phone or your watch, track your steps. You can get Oura rings, all these devices, Whoops. But the thing is, you don't want distractions. So if you're getting an Apple Watch and you have your notifications on it and you're doing this every time, You're getting distracted, and that will drain you. And again, that's another episode on decision making. But you need to just look at a simple metric, which is steps. So if you're doing 15,000 on average, guess what? That's the amount of average steps. And you would burn, people are like, oh, it burns 300 calories. The cool thing is, in your first week or two, you'll burn more calories. However, as you drop calories from your nutrition, which is one metric, another metric, you will become more efficient at walking and therefore burn less calories. So that's why every week you should be asking, where do I want to be? Is it up or down? Cool. What am I going to change? Training, nutrition, sleep, supplementation, lifestyle factors, which is the steps. So by doing all those things, you can make big impacts. Now, why is this so important? If you've gotten up to this part of the episode, is really I'm really excited because my partner Kate, love of my life, 20 weeks pregnant, which is really exciting. And the problem is that we made a joke or commitment that, and it's really funny, a friend of ours has just walked past, big smile, because he knows what the bet is, which is for every kilo she puts on, I have to lose. Now, I was doing all the events, I was doing the protein bars, I worked out the calories, and I was like, oh, it's fine, I'm not gonna spill over. But then I put on 7 kilos, I was like, holy crap. Kate put on 7 kilos, I put on 7 kilos, but I didn't lose the weight. So I'm playing the underdog story. And so I got 20 weeks to drop 10 kilos. However, I actually found out from a client last night, because we were talking about pregnancy, it's a beautiful thing. A friend of Kate's, she's put on 0 kilos. Oh, son of a gun. God obviously is challenging me, or Kate's pulling a big prank on me, and every week she adds a kilo because she wants me to be even leaner. I don't know. Here's a photo of me when I was doing photo shoots at 3.2% body fat. And the cool thing on that is it varied between 3.2 to 7.8 based off testing. So again, there's error in everything, but find the thing that's consistent for you. So Kate's put on 11 kilos. I've dropped the weight now. So I'm back to where I started at 110. And so a client of mine said she put on 18 kilos in her pregnancy. And I'm like, oh dear. So I got to lose a kilo a week. So this is like week 21. So just took a photo of that. So that's me at 110. So haven't dropped the weight. So we could look at that and be like, oh, well, you haven't dropped the weight, Karl. You haven't dropped that kilo. Yep, you'd be right. I haven't dropped that kilo. So that's me still at 110. And look, I'll be honest, mentally, it's like, oh dear, I'm in trouble. However, I know for the last 3 days, my weight was closer to the 109, but then I just reintroduced green shakes in because I want, yes, it's about calories and eating less to lose weight, but the thing is I would rather eat more whole foods, more greens, more vegetables, and then probably decrease carbs or fats through that process. So I want more nutrients to fuel the body, so I'm not going to be like, I want to be alert and get that in. The second thing is I'll probably start to supplement with creatine because I found a new source, because most creatine gives me migraines. So I found another supplement of creatine. So I may notice my water intake increases. However, if I trust the process and I gradually each week just keep building on that foundation, pretty confident I'm going to lose the weight. I'll drop that 10 kilos. So stay tuned. For those that want to, we've built out a 24-week guarantee 5 kilo weight drop. So the thing to understand is there's a difference between 5 kilos of fat and 5 kilos of weight. So we don't want to lose water weight, we want to drop 5 kilos of fat. So if you want to drop 5 kilos of fat, you need on average, you lose about 300 grams per week. So let that sink in, because if you go 300 times 20 weeks, that would be 6 kilos of fat. So then why would we only say 5? Because the thing is you need to have refeed periods. Because if you continue to diet too aggressively, there is a point where your body will adapt to that, remember like the walking, and so that'll become your new norm. We want to have periods of refeed so we can keep the metabolism nice and high. This is a bigger deficit here. So then when you finish, you can refeed yourself out. Instead of being maybe 3,000 calories, you're now 2,500 as normal. So many people do the whole, I never really track my calories, but I probably average between 3,500 and 3,800. Or the thing to understand is that volume and nutrients of food and quality of food, I believe, is superior at the end of the day. Calories comes from a metric of the caloric oven and how you burn stuff. But the thing is, we're not a caloric oven, we're human beings. There are periods and cycles in our life where we produce more hormones and less. So on an average, yes, the calories help, but I believe if you do the fundamental things right, then manipulating the calories will have a bigger bang for buck. But if you only focus on calories, then there's a lot being missed. So we focus on optimizing your health markers, And that's why we guarantee 5 kilos of fat drop in those 24 weeks, as long as we adhere to improving our quality of sleep, managing our stress. If we are focused on our career, and yes, we do sacrifice some sleep, just bear in mind, you're pushing that out. But would you rather lose 5 kilos and miss out on a promotion, or get the promotion and lose 4 kilos? Well then, let's not cry over spilt milk or water if you're a vegetarian or vegan. The thing is, like, at the end of the day, you've got to do the thing that works for you, but you also need to think, what is the outcome long term? Like, I'm losing 5 kilos of fat to decrease the load and stress on my body so I can live for longer. Cool, but I also want this. Okay, let's be realistic, build out the map, take the time. If it takes you 24 weeks or 30 weeks, but you still get everything else, cool, I take the 30 weeks. But if I got the result in 24 weeks and I missed out on everything else, then that's the goal for you. So this is the end of the podcast. Understand, number 1, get your quality of sleep, 7 to 9 hours. 2 is be mindful of the foods that you're eating. You may be drinking something or eating something that's highly processed, and that might be causing you to retain water weight. So like creatine, if you're supplementing it, if your goal is longevity, cognitive function, and performance enhancement, take the creatine legally. But if you're like, no, it's pure weight loss and any water retention is bad, then creatine might be a factor. So just take photos of all the food and the times you eat and ask yourself, how do I feel? And then lastly, when it comes to progressing in weight or dropping in weight, look at your training, nutrition, supplementation, lifestyle, and how you move, and look to make a change weekly. If you want to be aggressive with the approach, make 2 changes every week, and that's how you get the most out of it. So till next time, see you on the next podcast, and have a great day.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into that episode. Hope you really enjoyed it. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and also to share so we can help more people. Now, with your pen, you've probably written down heaps of things, but the things like myself, like there's blank pages, but pages, got lots of notes. What are the top 3 that you got out of today's episode? If 3 is too much, action on 1 thing and just see how it goes for you for this week. And make amendments and adjustments so you're constantly improving and refining and moving forward in your health, your training, your life. If you ever get stuck, reach out to us at info@vitruvianhealth.com.au. Always here to help. Till next time, adios amigos.